Welcome back to more adventures with members of the Florida Powerboat Club. This is Stu Jones, and we now find ourselves in Fort Myers Beach, Florida, a favorite boating destination for so many boaters, and we've been coming here for years. Returning to the Pink Shell Resort, which is a turnkey marina resort with a great marina on one side of the street, luxurious condos on the other side of the street, and a massive beach on the Gulf of Mexico. So you pretty much got everything you need here for a weekend of sun, sand, and surf. It's late April 2019. We've got 35 boats on the registration roster here as we prepare now for a 3-day boating event starting with Friday morning. This event is brought to you by Mercury Racing, wide open, and that's exactly how most of us are going to run our boats this weekend, including me in my Project 1080 cigarette sponsored by Mercury Racing with those stern drive 540s matched up with Bravo XR drives and an ITS transom assembly. So it's all going to be fun and games here as we drive on the Gulf Coast waters and on the protected bay waters, a mixture of high-performance V-bottoms, center consoles, and those fast cats that we're always trying to keep up with. Before we get started, join me in thanking our 2019 Florida Powerboat Club Series sponsors. These are the leading manufacturers in our industry, and I want to thank them for their continued support here of the Florida Powerboat Club right on through the 2019 season. So let's get started on this kind of cloudy Friday morning here in Fort Myers, and our drone is about to shine because this is the time of the day when we need this drone to kind of get us acclimated to the venue. Let's start off here with the Pink Shell Resort and its marina, which you can see is an ideal setting, all floating dock marina, and they've done a great job of making sure we have enough space for all of our poker run. I think about 35 boats altogether registered, and that's a lot of slips. You can see that there's still some cruisers and some small motor yachts here in the basin, but enough room really to run, I would say about a 50 boat poker run here out of the Pink Shell, and it's right on the doorstep to the Matanzas Pass. So a lot of these charter boats like this pirate boat are coming out of downtown Fort Myers Beach, taking the tourists out for little rides. But here is our gem of a headquarter resort, Pink Shell Resort. Kind of reminds me of Emerald Grand for some reason, but there you can see the Gulf of Mexico in the background. And again, our drone here giving us the bird's eye view that can really make us appreciate just how nice this resort is and the grounds. As we now pass over to the back pool section, look at these beautiful pools and a nice outdoor deck. Of course, there's a restaurant right straight below us here. They do have great dining facilities on property, and one of the things that you get when you come to the Pink Shell is a lavish breakfast. Every morning it's included with your room rate, and the condos are just amazing. But let's talk about this marina, floating dock marina. You can see there's no really visual current here. Nice protected marina, a lot of help from the staff. A great group of guys here as George Ariano holds court with his guests. He's got 3 boats here again. That's right. He's got his DCB, his Sensation, and his little Phantom race boat. So let's talk about today as we join Gary and Jen Nelson here in their skater. They've been great supporters of the club, done a lot of poker runs with us with this boat. I love this 30 skater. It's the only one in the club like it. Everyone's starting to get together and kind of take in the scenery here as we prepare for a little captain's meeting that we're going to need to do dockside. There's our Project 1080 on its 4th tour of duty. Now April, we've done a poker run every month since January, and you're going to see a wide variety of boats here and people from all over the country. And of course, we're not going to have a really formal captain's meeting, but we are going to have a little dockside chat just to get everybody acclimated to the plan, and which is the basic essentials. Wearing life jackets is important. I'm going to talk about that. Not drinking while we're going out for our fun run, that's important. And really just some of the common sense things that we need to just talk about before we go out boating, especially respecting the other boaters that are out on the waterways. And I think that we all can agree that, boating in a group setting, especially power boating, it's really fun, and we really enjoy each other's company. We're all passionate about the same thing. But I think it's very important, it can never be overlooked, that we have that safety talk every time, before we go out on the water, and I think it's important. So let's talk about our format today, which is going to be fairly casual. We're going to jump on the Project 1080 cigarette and join, I'd say about 15 or 20 boats all together. Got my son Tyler joining me, and I'm sure that he's just really happy about having a couple of Florida Powerboat Club girls, Cabrina and Jordan, along with us. Of course, he pretends that it's not really a big deal, but, well, Tyler, we know it's a big deal, so that's okay. But let's talk about the run. We're just going to go up to Yusepa Island today. And when I say just, I mean it's a great destination and a wonderful place to go have lunch. And we're going to be joining a lot of the Nortex too, because today is actually the day for the Nortec owners lunch. They've just come off of a dealer meeting here right in Cape Coral, just a few miles away from where we're starting today. And they've had probably 8 or 9 or 10 dealers in attendance and several Nortecs on the water. So the point of today is to go out and join Nortec for their owners lunch up at Yusepa. We set up a really nice deal for them, and we invited some of the other club members to join in. So you didn't have to own a Nortec to come and be a part of this Nortec owners lunch on Friday afternoon. And remember, it's only Friday, so it's a warm-up day. No helicopter today, so we're going to do some boat-to-boat shooting. You can see that the conditions are kind of overcast, not great visibility, but light winds and really calm conditions here on these bay waters as we head up towards Yusepa Island. And as planned, we rendezvoused with a number of Nortecs who had come from a different marina, Cape Coral actually, where they just finished their dealer meeting. And altogether, I think about 10 or 11 Nortecs going to join us today and for the weekend. And going to be quite a variety at that. Everything from their 34 center console all the way up to a big 56 there. A new stern drive model that's powered by big Cummins turbo diesels. It was only about a 30-minute ride dock to dock from the Pink Shell Resort in Fort Myers Beach up to Yusepa Island, and we're about to see now why this is such a popular destination with boaters. Even though it's a private club, we were able to work with the management here at Yusepa Island Club because we've been here so many times in the past, and we were able to put together a very special lunch program, which I think they did a fabulous job. But as you get in closer and you get to see the marina, they have enough docking in here for well over 100 boats. And there's always a bunch of people on the dock waiting to greet you. It's a really friendly and very casual vibe here. You can see from this aerial drone shot, there's a lot of nice homes. And there's no cars allowed on the property. Everything here is all golf cart community only. So you can get off the docks and cruise around on golf carts and check out the island. And it's really much bigger than it appears when you first arrive. It's actually quite a long island, and you can get way back up into the other far reaches of the island where there's nice sandy beaches and some really beautiful luxurious homes. So we'll give everyone a chance to get a closer look at what Yusepa Island is all about, but understand that even though it is private, they're still quite welcoming here if you want to come and tour the island and maybe get a membership package and consider joining. It's one of those places that you don't have to own real estate here, and you don't have to live here. You could just come here as a boater every once in a while with your family and enjoy lunch and hang around on the island and spend a day here. Of course, they have these golf carts. I think most of them are privately owned, but the resort does have a small collection of carts that they let us use if we wanted to tour around the island. And a great job on the catering. We won't get into too much detail, but all I can say is the food was fantastic, and so was the service. So it really was a special treat to be able to come here to the White Tarpon right here dockside and enjoy the ambiance and the vibe of this very, very casual island paradise. And back out here on the docks, you can see the docks just a little bit shiny. We had a small downpour during our lunch segment, but time to get our FPC girls on the Project 1080 cigarette. That's Cabrina on the left and Jordan on the right. And we haven't really had a chance to do any photo shoots on Project 1080 yet, so this was a good opportunity to do that because we were just waiting for the rest of the boaters to come back to the marina and get ready to head back. So a good opportunity to get a couple of pretty girls on the back of my pride and joy, this 38-foot cigarette, which has just now completed, or it's in the middle of its 4th event. We did the January Winter Poker Run, February Miami Run, March we were in Tampa, and here we are now, April, in Fort Myers. And I think the ladies look great in their life jackets. And I do want to mention that not all of the Florida Powerboat Club crew came over to Yucapa Island. We offered a couple of other options, and I think Cabbage Key was on the bucket list for several of our teams. I think 3 or 4 boats went over to Cabbage Key, which was right across from Yucapa. They told me they had a wonderful experience. So let's fast forward just a few hours now as we arrive back at the resort. Everyone's got a chance to check into the hotel, settle in, have a shower, and plan for a festive evening, which begins with our official check-in for the poker run. They gave us a nice ballroom where we could set up our FPC Girls, all of the t-shirts and the goodie bags, welcoming all of our participants and sponsors. There's Mark and Eileen Fisher in the house with their friends David and Megan joining them. But the shirts really turned out nicely, and one thing I'd like to point out is, yes, there you are, Lynn, you're in the shirt, that we make these custom shirts for every event. That's something that people may not realize. So just a few highlights about the captain's meeting. I like to call them a membership meeting because it's not always just about the event and the safety guidelines. Of course, those are important and they're at the top of the agenda. But I also like to talk a little bit about what's going on with the club for the rest of the year, maybe give everyone some highlights about some upcoming events. And I think this is a good chance to do it. It's also a great time for members to make some new boating friends or perhaps reconnect with some old boating friends that they haven't seen in a long time. And of course, soon after the meeting, most of us had a chance to dine here right on property. The Pink Shell offers a variety of dining options, so you never have to leave the property. And time to cheers to that, right, guys? Cheers to all of you, too. Saturday morning early, and a beautiful one at that. I actually got up about 6:30, which I never do, because I wanted to see what the conditions were going to be like, and I wanted to see if any more boats rolled in overnight. Got my eyes caught on this Envy 50-foot Mystic owned by Chris Cox from New York. Amazing boat. But you can really now see the variety in the types of boats that are on this event and, of course, in the club. A lot of these big power center consoles. This Concept 44 owned by Noel and Gretchen Speranza, 1,600 horsepower. This amazing machine, that's right, Project 1080 with twin Mercury Racing 540s. Keeping it real, 43-foot Outer Limits from Georgia, Jim and Lynn Archambault, who have been avid supporters of the club for as many years as I can remember. Quad Mercury 350 Verados on this Deep Impact 399, and we can look for a sister ship to this 399. Paul Bertucci is here with his white 399 with quad 350s. Pain Relief is a 42-foot fountain all the way from Canada, Chris and Jennifer Grant, and Chris is going to be making his racing debut later in the year when he heads for Key West. And even this big Sea Ray is now part of the club membership. Antonio Swad all the way from Texas with this big 65-foot Sea Ray Team Chingona. He's not going to run with the pack, but he is going to be a checkpoint boat at cart stop number 2. Well, the sun's up now, and just a couple of hours later, our photo and video crew is gathering here at Page Field in Fort Myers. We're going to fly in an R44 with Straight Up Aviation, who we've flown with before, and our teams are now getting ready. It's only about a 10-minute ferry time from the airport over to Pink Shell Resort. So it's good to know that the teams are getting ready. We're having communication with our aerial team, and when they arrive, we're going to want to see boats getting out there ready to run, so we're not going to burn up all that helicopter time. Of course, it's a little bit windy today. We would normally have done the very first poker cart dockside here at the Pink Shell Resort, but we had some really strong winds and thought that it might be a little touch and go trying to come up to the dock without banging the boats into the dock, so we skipped that part, and the girls just handed out the poker carts dockside, and everybody got on their boats and made the turn. Now you can see the fleet has really grown from the previous day. Remember, all those Nortex are with us, plus all of those boats that arrived through Friday and Friday afternoon. And if you look real closely now in the center of the screen, there's a 32-foot Sensation center console. That's Tim Hill, who's a local boater, and he's also now the president of Fort Myers Offshore. He's going to join us today as a safety boat. In addition to my Project 1080, each of us are going to be carrying medics with us on board today. Now, this is what I like about this venue here in Fort Myers Beach. We're only about 5 minutes away from the dock at Pink Shell, and we're already turning into the Matanzas Pass, heading out into the Gulf of Mexico. So there really is not a lot of idling in this event. You make the turn and you're in open water, and away you go. We're not on plane yet, only because we're waiting to get the group assembled and get the helicopter in position. And we have pretty much decided to go offshore today. We looked at the weather. It was much, much better than it was from the day prior. The winds had died down quite a bit. So we came out of the pass and we looked out into the Gulf, and it looked, pretty calm actually. So we made the decision to take that route over on the west side of Sanibel Island, and that was a choice we made early in the run. Of course, later it developed and it was much choppier than we had expected, as you're about to see. But I'm looking around at this fleet and looking at cigarettes and big Nortex and a lot of big offshore V-bottoms and cats, 48-foot MTIs, and there's not a single boat out there that I don't think could handle a nice 3 or 4 foot chop. If you really are not comfortable with the ride, you can always back down the throttle and just kind of ride it out. We don't have that far to go. We're going to come in the Redfish Pass, and we're going to get our first poker card from that big sea ray called Team Chingona. But in the meantime, we're going to separate the pack and let the front runners go ahead while the rest of us just kind of find our own groove and enjoy the ride. Great conditions today. Beautiful skies, clear and sunny and perfect temperature. We got the bikinis out. It's 10 in the morning and the bikinis are already out. That's the way we like it. So it's time to bust a move, and of course our front runners are going to be these red decal high performance boats, mostly catamarans, as we join Danny DeSantis from Massachusetts in this Skater 388 powered by Mercury Racing 1100s. We call him Team McLaren of Boston because that's what he does. He's an exotic car dealer who sells McLarens, and most of us have seen him in Key West. But what a great looking skater as he gets up and starts running. And one of 3 48 MTIs registered, Bill Betts from New York in this 48 powered by Mercury Racing 1350s. Team excuses as he gets on the throttles and starts to run away from the chopper. And let's say hi to George Ariano and his 35-foot DCB Team OGP. And a Nortex Supercat, Karsten B. from Germany. I'm not going to try to say that last name. 36 Supercat with Mercury Racing 700s. He joined us last fall for the Key West Poker Run. Had so much fun that he came back. And another big 48-foot MTI, Mark Stoddard from Ontario, Canada. Mercury Racing 1350s and a beautiful boat. He just took delivery at the Miami Boat Show 2 months earlier. And now our third big 48 MTI, Lane Christensen. Some nice slow motion there. All the way from Texas in Fast Lane 5. Mercury Racing 1350s. And it's fast and furious as these front runners team up. Lane Christensen coming alongside Danny DeSantis now. And this is what you do if you have one of these big cats. You go fast. That's it. And now it's a different flavor of cat as we catch up with Matt Borsina, Team Low C. It's a 36 Wright Performance. So clearly not the big QC4 platform like these front runners had, but now we're in a Mercury 400 Alvarado. An outboard boat, a lot less horsepower, but still maintaining, as you can see, he still is one of the front runners here, leading still a large group of boats that are behind. Got the boat dialed in and running great. And a little GoPro action here from Joe at Skyview Productions in the back seat, Pete Bowden in the front seat shooting stills from a very windy R-44 helicopter. And circling back now one more time with George and Ann Ariano in their 35-foot DCB, little slow motion action there as well. And it looks like the helicopter is just kind of spending the time now with the front runners, and there's a reason for that because, once these guys get away from you, they're gone, and you're not going to see them again probably for the rest of the morning. So we like to let the chopper spend time with these fast running cats up here at the front. Get some good footage now as we catch up with Megan and Pierre Brosseau. Well, I can pretty much assure you Megan is not on the boat right now. Pierre from Canada loves running fast. This is a 40-foot Nortec Roadster with Mercury Racing 1350s. And it's 2 events in a row for Chris Cox from New York with his 50-foot Mystic. Last event, Tampa, he had a 50 Mystic Turbine Cat, and here he is now with Team Envy. This one's powered by Mercury Racing 1550s. And Raymond Roberts from Canada, Double R Performance, jumping on that outboard bandwagon by converting this Nortec 3600 Supercat to a quad-powered Mercury Racing 400Rs. A great setup and a fast-running Supercat. And back for more fun and more practice, George Ariano with this 32-foot Phantom single-engine race boat. Just purchased this boat as well as several others just like it. Going to be racing them on the OPA circuit and giving these little Phantoms a good run here on the poker runs, getting them dialed in for the racing season, which begins very soon. And now we're catching up with Tom Beagle all the way from Michigan. Does a lot of boating down here in Southwest Florida. Got this 36-foot Sensation powered by Mercury Racing 575s. And here's one center console that's always going to be leading the pack. Noel and Gretchen Speranza and their Concept 4400 powered by Quad Mercury 400Rs. Well, I guess we've all caught on by now that those cats have all gone ahead as the front runners, and now we're blending in with a pack of V-bottoms and a mixed bag at that. This big 527 Nortec powered by Mercury Racing 1350s, owned by Gary and Nancy Robertson, who recently acquired the boat from Mark and Eileen Fisher, and they've been enjoying poker runs from Fort Myers to Key West in this big Nortec that replaced their previous Nortec, which was a 4300 model. Some nice slow motion there as we get into the chop. And just a few short clips of these boats as the helicopter is flying in the opposite direction, circling back to do a big 180 and start chasing down this next group of boats. Joining now some more of these Nortecs that have gotten into the mix, several actually, close to 10 Nortecs running today, and this big 56 powered by triple Cummins 550 turbo diesels on harness and surface drive. So it's quite the fast machine. This old diesel boat is no slouch. She'll run 70 miles per hour. And here's Dave Racebeck, a longtime FPC member in this 39 Nortec powered by Quad Mercury Racing 400Rs. Joining the pack, there's a 45. There's that 56 we just took a look at. Going to see pretty much one of every model from the Nortec family here. Remember, we're in Nortec's backyard. All the boats are built right here in Fort Myers and Cape Coral. And let's say hi to Greg Bent. He's a long way from home, which is Louisiana. He was in town for the Nortec dealers meeting. He's running his 39 center console. Jeff Tomlinson from the Nortec factory is running one of my favorite 39 center consoles. It's powered by triple Mercury Racing 400Rs, and I just love this red metallic. Here's David Gordon in his 39 Nortec. Got the same rigging as that previous boat. Team Mistreated. He attended the Key West poker run last fall, and he's back for more fun. And representing the Nortec factory, one of the founders himself, Niels Johnson, in this 34-foot Nortec. This is the very first Nortec powered by the triple set of the new Mercury 300 V8s. A little more civilized than the 34 that I rode with Niels last year, had triple Mercury 400Rs. That was an 86 mile an hour center console. And a very special welcome to Jonathan Miller from this area, Fort Myers, in his brand new 39-foot Nortec center console. And we're catching up with another 34-foot Nortec center console. This one very similar to the one we saw earlier that Niels was driving, but look closely at the engines. Not the Mercury 300 V8s, but instead a triple set of Mercury Racing 400R Verados. And we're now getting away from the Nortecs and catching up to Tom Beagle one more time, all the way from Michigan in its 36-foot Sensation team, bar none. I love the rooster tail that this boat throws out. Tom joined us 3 years ago for our trip to Cuba, taking this Sensation to Havana and back. And enjoying his new 399 Deep Impact, Paul Bertucci, all the way from Mississippi. Team Beer Money, because he's a beer dealer. And now catching up with our official chase boat or safety boat, Tim Hill, a local boater here from the Fort Myers Offshore Group, in his 32 Sensation. And last but not least, running the back of the pack, Project 1080 HP. Not exactly putting on a stellar show today. The boat really wasn't running that well, quite honestly. To be quite frank with you guys, it turns out we had a plug wire off and we're running on 7 cylinders on the port motor. But nonetheless, we had a good ride. We stayed at the back of the pack and made it all the way up to Redfish Pass to come on in. So, but a nice ride. You can see it was a little bumpy towards the end. It was even a little rougher for one section, but I think everyone agrees that it was a nice, adventurous ride, but time to go inside to the comfort of the Pine Island Sound and the Bayside waters. Going to get another card stop here now as we catch up with that big 65 Sea Ray owned by Antonio Swad, his first event with the club. He's from Texas but spends a lot of time here in Southwest Florida. Chingona, as it's named, has to do something with a really outrageous looking woman, if I recall. But a great card platform because it's got that huge swim platform off the back, has all his friends on board, and it was just a nice little spot where, you know, we found just inside Redfish Pass, which separates Captiva Island from North Captiva. And if you're a local boater, you'd know that this is a popular access point for any boaters that want to travel from the Bayside area out to the Gulf of Mexico. And I've got to compliment Antonio for getting right into the groove of this card checkpoint segment. I mean, he must be watching the YouTube videos as John Wittenberger Jr. pulls up here. He's got a couple of dudes in the back helping out the lovely lady who looks great in a bikini, by the way. I don't know her name. I didn't officially meet her. But I think Antonio knew exactly what the mission entailed. I met him on the dock earlier in the morning. I gave him his poker card pull and all the cards he needed. I told him where to dock. He had a captain on the boat, so that was easy enough. And boom, there they are, all set, ready to go. As Chris and Jennifer just get their card. Now Danny DeSantis is going to get his poker card. But let's face it, guys, this is a big part of what these poker runs are all about. And if we can get one or two good card checkpoints in for the day and get some nice video from the helicopter and then some nice close-ups here, I always pull up right alongside and, you know, whip out the iPhone and try to stay out of harm's way and not blocking anybody. But, you know, being right up front here and getting a shot of the cards being handed off as each team comes up one by one is part of the fun for me. And everyone tells me that watches the YouTube videos, they all agree that, you know, when you can get in close and watch the poker card segments, that's what really brings the whole spirit of the poker run together. We want to see the boats going fast. We want to hear the engines roar. We want to see how cool the boats look, like this, you know, 39 Nortec that Dave Raceback is running with the Quad 400s. But being able to see the people and, yes, of course, the bikinis. We had a surplus of FPC girls for this event. We had 4 girls, and I didn't want my son Tyler to just go crazy, you know, if I had 4 bikini girls on the boat. So we managed to get 2 with Greg Bent. He was more than happy to reciprocate. He had this big 39 and he needed more passengers to ride along, so it worked out just perfect. But what a great team. I've got to commend Antonio and his crew. The guys, the gals, everybody was just so much fun. And what a great platform to be handing out the cards here. No incidents, no paint scratches, no fender benders, just a lot of people having fun. And of course, a lot of bikinis. Hey girls. So as Gary and Nancy pick up their poker card here on their Nortec, let's talk about the next leg. The boaters now have a chance to go back offshore in the Gulf of Mexico, or they could stay inside on the protected waters of Pine Island Sound. It just so happens that it just was choppy enough that everyone said, we're going to stay on the inside. And every one of the boats in the entire poker run fleet stayed on the bay waters and got into the intracoastal channel, heading northbound to Boca Grande, which is going to be our lunch stop and another poker card. So this is a great place to sign off from our episode 1 with feature coverage of the 2019 edition of the Fort Myers Poker Run with members of the Florida Powerboat Club. In our next episode, we'll have part 2 of continuing coverage of the Fort Myers Run with lots of smiling people, beautiful bikinis, awesome powerboats as we continue to enjoy the Florida powerboating lifestyle. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel here, Florida Powerboat Club, and be sure to click on that notification bell so you'll get updates every time a new episode is released. Follow us on social media. On Facebook, it's Florida Powerboat Club, Instagram, and of course, you can check out our website for information about membership and upcoming poker run events at flpowerboat.com. This is Stu Jones. Thanks for watching. Remember, guys, be safe out there. Always wear your life jackets. Be respectful to fellow boaters and never drink and drive. Bye for now.